Alright, hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we're gonna do something different. Today we're going to go over every single workout shoes, running shoes, recovery shoes that I use in my training. I know that Black Friday is coming up right now. This is the perfect time to buy. A lot of shoes that I'm gonna show you are going to be on discount. I'm going to give you some buying tips. And a little bit about myself, I'm a 5'10", 200-pound runner who just ran 130 half marathon in October, 320 marathon in May, and I'm consistently training. If you're starting running or working out for a first time, if you're an experienced runner, or if you have wide or flat feet, because I know personally that for us, it's really difficult to find shoes that fit us and that are comfortable. So I wanted to help out on that. This year, I've ran over 1,500 miles and I've tested all the shoes and they are exact shoes that I use in my training. I'm going to give you an honest opinion about these shoes. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I will make sure to answer them as well. The first category of shoes that we're gonna start off with is daily trainer / recovery shoes. First shoe is Brooks Glycerin 21. I've talked about this shoe in the past and I've mentioned that this shoe is built like a tank. This is like the third pair that I own. I travel with it, I ran with it, I trained 5K with it, and I was able to get almost 400 miles in that shoes. Brooks Glycerin series is kind of known for being firm. It's like a one step below Max Cushion shoes. And to my knowledge, I think this shoe was released 2 years ago, so a lot of site has this shoe on major discount. It's honestly been my favorite to-go shoes. It's comfortable, it protects you, it's got that cushion, and just like I said, I used to 5K train with this shoe. You are able to put in some tempo work and interval runs with this shoe. Some people might ask, why not just get Brooks Glycerin 22? The thing is, 22 started to use different foam, and all of a sudden, the feel that I got from this shoe was a little bit different. Starting 22, I noticed that it's not as firm as before, but it's also not squishy, where I know that a lot of people have kind of a love and hate relationship with 22 because it felt so different from Glycerin series. So I tried 22 a bit in the past, but I was never able to fall in love with that. I ended up returning that shoe and just going back to 21. And also 21 is much cheaper than 22 at the moment, so it was a no-brainer for me. And regarding the sizing, I wear 12.2E for this shoe. So yeah, if you have wide feet, I definitely recommend going the wide version. And the toe box is really round and it's spacious, where I think it would appeal to a lot of wide and flat feet runners as well. The verdict on this shoe is that if you are starting out running or if you're looking for a first running shoe, I think this could serve you well because it is so versatile, can be applied in so many different speeds, and it's cheaper than most of the options out there, and it's highly cushioned, so it's going to protect you from that impact. But lately this shoe has been gone out of my training cycles, and I'm going to explain in a bit why. The next shoe that I'm going to talk about is Brooks Gylcerin Max. I mentioned this in the video that this is the king of the wide foot shoes. Even though Brooks Glycerin 21 was known for having maximal cushion, Brooks came out with this max cushion shoe, even with more cushion throughout the shoe. Look at this massive stack height. I've never ran with max cushion shoes in the past, but some of the shoes that I tried on felt too squishy, too unstable, so I had some concerns about this shoe. But when I tried this shoe on, I was pleasantly surprised because whenever I pressed my foot on it, it was actually really firm and responsive. So if you're like me and have concerns of max cushion being too soft, I think you'll be surprised to find out that this is really firm and responsive, and it could appeal to you as well. Another thing to notice is that I put in 200 plus miles into the shoe, but as you look at the traction, do you see any wear or tear? Like, even though I do all my running in the city, everything is still attached and it is in such a great state. Brooks, you know, it's known for its durability. They make their shoes like tanks. And as you can see, this, even though it's a max cushion shoe, it is an ultimate tank as well. I think the primary focus of this shoe is comfort. That's why it sometimes lacks breathability because it's got such a thick cushion all around the shoe. So yes, the downside is that if you take this shoe a really hot climate, that can be actually problematic. Honestly, anywhere except like extremely hot condition, I think this shoe will serve you well. But even though I wear 12-2E in Brooks Glycerin 21, I was able to just get 12 for this shoe and it was really comfortable. It's got great roomy toe box, it's got wide base, so if you are worried about sizing, don't worry, just go with your normal sizing as well. And here's the reason why I swapped out Brooks Glycerin 21 into Glycerin Max. Right now, I'm training for a marathon, and my week goes usually 2 or 1 interval runs and 4 easy runs. My training logic is that on hard days, on interval days, I'm going to go hard. I'm gonna push myself. And on easy days, my goal is not to increase my speed. It's rather purely is about recovering, getting that easy miles in to increase the weekly mileage and also just get that blood flowing into my leg. That's why I opted out into max cushion shoes. I spend majority of time running easy every single week, and while I'm doing that, I want to make sure that I give my leg as much breathing room as possible. Also, given that I'm a heavier runner, I needed that extra support and extra cushioning to protect my leg so that when interval day come, I go hard. I put on my carbon shoes and I train hard, get my body used to speed and treat myself out and protect my leg with max cushion shoes the day after. Last shoe that I'm gonna talk about in this category is Nike Vomero Plus. I know that people have been talking about these shoes for months. People have been labeling this as the shoe of the year. And does it live up to the hype? People might have some concerns about Nike because Nike is notoriously known for not caring about people with wide and flat feet. But don't worry, this shoe actually came out pretty wide. I was able to get 12 and I was able to fit it fine as well. But one thing to note is that Glycerin Max came out a bit wider. As you can see, there's a slimming down in the middle, and I definitely do notice that Glycerin Max is a bit roomier. This shoe is really fun to run in. Unlike Glycerin Max where the ride feels firm, this is squishy. But not too squishy to a point where it feels unstable. It found like a sweet spot where it's right in the middle between being firm and being too squishy, where both parties can be kinda enjoying this shoe, where it provides you that fun and stable ride whether you're doing an easy run, recovery run. Other things to note is that Glycerin Max has 6mm stack height and Nike Vomero Plus has 10mm stack height, which means that this is more skewed like this and it will load off more pressure off your Achilles but have more pressure on the foot, versus Glycerin Max would put more pressure on your Achilles and less pressure across your foot. So that's another thing to think about as well. I think Nike this time really knocked it out of the park because not only it was able to capture the recovery scene where it provided a max cushion, but it also did it in such a fun way where it provides such a fun ride where even though you're recovering and even though you're running on a max cushion shoes, it doesn't feel like you are running with bricks, because a lot of people complain that sometimes max cushion shoes tend to be too heavy, but technically this shoe is also lighter than Brooks Glycerin Max as well. I have been rotating these shoes and utilizing them in my easy runs and recovery runs whenever my legs are completely beat up and I need absolute protection and some kind of stability, then that's when I go for Glycerin Max. So if you are looking for something that is the most durable, like bit heavier, that provide maximal cushion, looking for a firmer ride, I think this is the shoes to go. But I think a lot of people would fall in this category where you need that cushion to protect you, but also provide you that fun and versatile ride where it could be used on long runs, recovery runs, sometimes like fun interval runs. I think this is why so many people were excited about this shoe, because it's a truly versatile max cushion and fun ride shoes. The next category of shoe that I'm going to talk about is Super Trainers. This is Saucony Endorphin Speed 4. What is Super Trainer? Those are intended to use for tempo and faster workouts, and that are lighter and faster than recovery and max cushion shoes, but not as fast as carbon shoes, because carbon shoes tend to be more expensive. Therefore, they wanted to provide you an alternative option, like a tier down, to make sure that these speed shoes are accessible to public. To give you the verdict, I absolutely hate the shoe. I love to keep my easy runs really easy, and I go hard, like my hardest on my hard ones. So I think that Super Trainer doesn't allow me to push myself to the maximum speed, and rather I would just use carbon shoes to really push myself on those hard days, so that on easy days I would just stick with my max cushion shoes to protect myself. And some people might mention in the comments, Eric, no, like those are so expensive, what are you talking about? And here's a little trick that I use all the time. I rarely buy any shoe that just come out in the market. I usually wait a year or two, or go through eBay, or go through other sites, or go through discounted platforms to pick up shoes that are a year late. And what ends up happening is whenever I do that, the shoes come out to be really cheap. And when you're buying on eBay, make sure that the sellers are trustworthy. It's got tons of reviews. Really beware and check the reviews. That's the key part. But overall, if you do your research, I think you should be fine, but please beware. So whenever I run with Endorphin Speed 4, I am trying to push off and like exert force as much as I can when I put on my carbon shoes. And whenever I do that, since there's no carbon plate to push you up, I do feel more strain in my leg. It takes me longer for me to recover. Personally, I think that if you are looking for speed trainers that you want to use in race, kind of suggest that you look at the option that I told you about and go through like Amazon, eBay, or other sites to check out those shoes, or even outlet sites. And I think there are more great shoes out there. That's kind of my verdict on this Endorphin Speed 4. The next category of shoe that I'm going to talk about is workout shoe, and this is Xero Prio Barefoot shoe. So I usually try to lift once or twice a week, and lifting is a vital part of running as it trains the muscle group that could help you get faster but also prevent injuries. And one of my core philosophy when I'm lifting is that I make sure that my toes are all spread apart and I am really pushing on the ground, and I'm trying to always practice the stability and grow that foot muscle. I think that having foot muscle is really crucial because it is connected to all parts of your leg, and it provides such a solid foundation base, and the foot is where it's constantly making impact and contact with the ground. So by protecting that contact point, you are protecting yourself from an injury. I think if you are squatting or deadlifting in these like max cushion shoe, you are not able to exert the force as much as you can, because I think the cushion kind of diminishes the amount of force you put on your feet. So I think this is like a really great sturdy shoe that I have been wearing for years. And if you want to get serious about lifting and kind of really grow your foot muscle, I think this is highly recommended. But one huge caveat: don't ever run in these shoes. I think one of the biggest reasons why I ruptured my Achilles was because I used to run with these shoes without any proper training. Some people might say our ancestors didn't need shoes, our legs and tendons are strong enough to withstand the pressure, so let's go. But no, please don't do that. That's what happened to me, and I regret it every single day. You gotta remember that we were in school, we go to office jobs, we have been sitting our entire life. And please remember that Achilles tendon can actually adapt to these things and grow and get stronger. But it takes even more time than growing muscle. It takes years, it takes hours and hours of training. So please remember that. Please don't ever try to run. This is purely for working out and making sure that you have a great contact with the ground as you're pushing off and doing like the squat or deadlift movements. So those are the only use cases. The next shoe that I'm gonna talk about is Kane recovery shoe. Okay, I'm gonna just mention it because the Kanes are so big in high rocks community, running community, and saying that this is really good for recovery. Okay, if I'm being completely honest, no, I genuinely don't get how this shoe helps with recovery. I just got it because it looks cool and I love the purple and gold. It looks like kind of like Lakers. This fit really well for wide and flat fit people. So if you want just like a comfortable shoe that look cool, go for it, but don't expect much on it. That's like better Crocs. Now, let's get to the last part of the video, carbon plated shoes. The first shoe that I'm gonna talk about is New Balance SC Elite 4. I think two words perfectly describe this shoe: comfort and stability. The moment I put on this shoe, I was amazed by how comfortable it was. It's got wide base, the traction was great, it was breathable, and sometimes like people say you need some time to break into this shoe, but I never had any issue where this shoe was just so fun, bouncy and soft, stable from the get-go. I'm going to talk about a lot of carbon shoes, but I think this shoe actually gave out the least amount of energy return, which means that it might be a great super trainer and also great first marathon shoe that could give you enough power, but also same time, since this is your first carbon shoe and like let's say your first marathon, it's focusing on that stability and comfort where you are able to run 26.2 miles without any discomfort. So currently this shoe is in my tempo run rotation. I put in around a little bit over 100 miles into this shoe, but I think it's durable, it's solid, it's stable. And just like I said, I don't think I would ever use this on actual race setting because I don't get that enough energy return that I would love for my race days. And I would highly recommend this for a lot of people out there who is running their marathon for the first time. This shoe is Saucony Endorphin Pro 4. If I say Glycerin 21 is the workhorse and the tank of the recovery and daily trainers, I would say Endorphin Pro 4 is the workhorse and the tank of carbon racing shoe. And it is wide, where I was able to get 12 and I was able to fit in 5. As you can see, the wide toe box, and the Saucony typically come out pretty wide, where it's applicable for a lot of wide and flat feet people as well. I put in 300 miles in this shoe and I was blown away by how I was able to still feel the pop all the way up till over 220 miles, which is amazing for the durability of carbon racing shoe. And it provides you such a fun and snappy ride. It gives you a little bit of pop. It's not squishy at all, it's rather firm, where I definitely noticed way more power return than SC Elite 4. So even with 300 miles, like the tractions are still there, which is wild to me. So this shoe is really built like a tank, but I am about to retire this shoe because after 300 miles, it kind of feels like brick. But I've seen other videos where this would last even longer. But given that I am 200 pounds and I primarily use for hard training on this shoe, the fact that it lasted that long for me was great. This shoe is Saucony Endorphin Elite 1. So technically this is a tier 1 above from Saucony Endorphin Pro 4. And I think this also came out a bit wider than Saucony Endorphin Pro 4, where the toe box is the widest out of all the Saucony shoes I've tried. I've had a lot of problems with this shoe. I think it's snappy and the rocker is aggressive to a point where it's too aggressive, where if you're not going at a certain fast pace, this shoe is kind of like a beast that's difficult to tame. And also, amount of the energy return I get, I kind of felt like it was on par with Endorphin Pro 4, where I thought Saucony Elite 1 would be a major upgrade from Endorphin Pro 4, but genuinely I didn't feel that much. When Endorphin Pro 4 felt like it wrapped around my foot and I didn't have any slippage, whenever I ran, I had slippage on this heel section, so that was also difficult to control as well. I know that some people like this shoe given how It's got the widest base and widest toe box, but for me, if I had a choice between Endorphin Pro 4 and Endorphin Elite 1, I would go with Endorphin Pro 4 any day. The last shoe that I'm going to talk about is Saucony Endorphin Elite 2. When you run in this shoe for the first time, you will be surprised because you kind of feel like you're running on marshmallow, you're running on cloud. But at the same time, even though it's so squishy, the amount of energy return you get on this shoe is insane. So I PR using this shoe. I raced twice using this shoe in Copenhagen Marathon in May and San Jose Half Marathon in October. I think one thing to note is that when I was running marathon in Copenhagen, I ended up getting a black toe. The toe box is not as wide as Saucony Endorphin Elite 1. So I did see a lot of Reddit reviews that after running a marathon where your feet get swollen a lot, that you would have black toe because it's like really hard here. Your toe would rub off this part and get that black toe. But overall, I think the durability of this shoe is really great. After running 2 races, I kind of transitioned them into more of tempo and my workout shoes. And as you can see, even though I put in around like over 100 miles, the traction is still there. There's no any tear or wear on the upper. It is breathable. And I definitely think that out of all the carbon shoes that I recommended to you, this gave me the most energy return and I had so much fun racing in them. One thing to note is that since this is really squishy, it requires a lot of ankle stability. When you're turning like sharp turns or change of direction, you gotta be careful because this is not as stable, right? But I think you can make up for that by working on your ankle muscle at least like once or twice a week. And I was able to manage that and I was able to grow a decent amount of ankle muscle over this year. And yeah, I never had any problems running with this shoe as well. So what is the final verdict? If you're running your first marathon, if you're looking for primarily comfort and something, a little bit of taste of carbon racing shoe, I think New Balance SC Elite 4 is the way to go. Next, if you're looking for a shoe that is most durable, that's built like a tank, that also gives you good enough energy, and Endorphin Pro 4 is the way to go. And lastly, if you are looking for the maximum energy return, you don't care about stability, I want to get that PR and just push myself. That's why I race only in this shoe, because it gave me the most energy return, it gave me the most fun ride, and thank you for serving me so well in 2025 races. Thank you so much everyone for tuning in. These are the exact shoes that I used to train and run over 1,500 miles this year. Get that PR. So let me know if you have any questions below. And lastly, before we end this video, I just wanted to say thank you so much everyone. You know, in the theme of Thanksgiving, in the beginning of this year in February, we had 190 subscribers and now we just surpassed 1,900 subscribers. And I know that that number might not mean much to some people out there, but for me, you know, that's a 10x improvement and that's huge. And also, you all have been so supportive and patient with my journey. I think I created this channel at the lowest of low where I just had the biggest injury of my life and I wanted to bounce back and get in the best shape of my life so that I could show others that just a regular guy like me could bounce back and be in the best shape of my life. And everyone has been so inspiring and helpful because you all have been commenting, providing feedback, and also sharing your journey, which has been super inspiring to hear as well. So I think the next goal is that I really want this channel to become a channel where everyone could provide tips on each other to grow. YouTube kind of provide this metric to my channel that most of the watchers on this channel are somewhere between 25 to 44. I think in this age group, this is where everyone's striving for something, and I hope that this channel could become a place where everyone could do that. So always share your journey. I love listening to them, and thank you so much for following my journey, and I am excited about your journey as well. So thank you all. Love you all, fam.